All right, my friend, welcome to a bonus episode here on the Red Delta Project podcast, where I am chatting with my good friend, Danny Kavadlo. Danny has just released his brand new book, Hybrid Strength Training, How to Get Jacked and Shredded with Calisthenics and Freeweight Training. And I'm very excited about this new addition to the Kavadlo and the Dragon Door library. So he's on here. We're going to chat about it. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to shut up so he can start talking about it. Danny Kavadlo, welcome to the RDP podcast, my friend.
Well, hey, Matt, it's great to be here. I'm super excited. This is my first time as a guest on your podcast. So it's a great experience for me. I always love chatting calisthenics and workouts with you and equipment and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to a good chat today.
Hell yeah, man. So let's dive right into the weeds here. Your new book, Hybrid Strength, just barely came out, and it's a phenomenal read and it answers one of the biggest questions that has been in the ether ever since combat conditioning hit the streets, where it was, okay, calisthenics is great, wonderful, awesome, but I also want to include other strength training modalities with it. I don't want to feel like I have to choose one or the other. How do I combine them together? And your book solves that and gives great advice, practical application, and wonderful programs with it. So give us the lowdown on the history of how this came about.
Well, you know, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot you just talked about, and I'm delighted to talk about all of it. But right, calisthenics and free weights, the separation and then the combining of. But what's interesting about all that is I've always considered myself a strength training person from the beginning. That was always my athletic pursuit, getting stronger, getting more physical fitness in that regard. So calisthenics and free weights only, I feel, recently became more divided with YouTube and with people just becoming more divided in general. This, not that. But in reality, I think if we put down social media and put down YouTube and look away from it and just get outside, you're going to see that there's a lot of people already doing hybrid training. When I was starting out, I did calisthenics because I didn't have any equipment. And that's why calisthenics is the purest and oldest and noblest form of exercise. You don't have equipment, you got a floor, okay. And as my brother Al Kavadlo would say, if you don't got a floor, you got bigger problems. So calisthenics, having that ultimate purity, that use what you have, that natural element and that creative element to take what you have and repurpose it to train the entire body. But when you're doing strength training, whether the external load that you're moving is your body or some sort of external resistance, it's still working on progressive overload. So free weight training overloads your muscles too. And if you got a barbell, why would you not use it? In fact, that's why all this equipment was invented. Now, to be clear, the second I could get my hand on some weights, when I was a little kid, my uncle gave me a weight set, I started lifting, and I've been doing hybrid training since. In the last 9 or 10 years, certainly since about 2013, when we launched the PCC, the Progressive Calisthenics Certification, calisthenics has dominated my training as I've been teaching it. So I can't go out there and teach human flag if I can't hold a human flag for 10 seconds. I can't go out there and teach muscle ups if I can't bang out clean muscle ups. So that's been my primary focus, but I never stopped lifting weights. Over the pandemic, I really got back into weights and I revisited this project, Hybrid Strength Training, that I had actually started in 2019 after the completion of a book called Get Strong, which was the ultimate body weight exercise book from the Kavadlo brothers. So it was from there, where do we go? We wound up putting out a book called Next Level Strength with parallettes and rings. But at the time, that's when I personally began working on this program, working on this. As far as calisthenics and free weights go and combining them goes, like I said, there's a lot of things in common. We have progressive overload. Whether you're changing the leverage or manipulating how much of your body's weight is in a particular limb, let's say doing a push-up versus an asymmetrical push-up, you're changing the amount of load in the body part. Well, with free weights, If you're doing a bench press or a heavier bench press, you're changing the amount of load. The big difference being in calisthenics, your body weighs what it weighs. So if we want to make differences in the load per limb, we have to do a more difficult exercise or somehow change that weight to limb ratio. Whereas in the free weights, we do the same exercise. We don't relearn an exercise to do something harder. We increase the load. So all that is in common. And of course, there are some differences. Calisthenics, like we talked about, it's that pure minimalism. You use what you got and you can get in the best shape of your life. Some of the advantages of weight training are that you can, like I said, more easily adjust the load. You want to go heavier in something, you don't necessarily have to learn a new movement pattern or practice neurologically how it feels to do an asymmetrical, let's stick with push-up, for example. You just make it heavier or lift heavier. And there's other advantages and benefits from doing each one. I don't even want to say disadvantages because they're both great. And we use them in unison. And this is stuff I get to in the introduction of the book in great detail, some of the advantages of each one and why we specifically do it and what we stand to have from blending them.
Yeah. And I love how this book is coming out now because one of the things that sickens me about just a lot of things in society, I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but especially in our fitness culture, it's this versus that. It's that versus this. What side are you on kind of thing. And when I started taking more of a fundamental approach to fitness, all of that just kind of went right off my back because I look at people who are like, okay, should I do one or the other kind of thing? I'm like, do whatever you want. Because in my opinion, like getting strong with free weights, getting strong with calisthenics, fundamentally, we're still doing the same thing. They're not different. Fundamentally, they work the same way. If you came to me and said, I want to get to the airport, how do I get there? I'd give you instructions. And if you came here like, yeah, but what if I'm driving a different car? I'd be like, same instructions, dude. I wouldn't give you anything different. Like it's the same thing. You want to drive a truck, drive a truck. You want to drive a motorcycle, great. But I'm not giving you different instructions because you're still going along the same roads to the same destination. You're just operating a different vehicle to get there. And some people like cars, some people like motorcycles. Most people are probably going to want to use both in their garage.
You know, it's the best program. And I'm not the first to say this. I'm quoting and paraphrasing everybody else, but a lot of people have said this, but I'll reiterate. The best program is the one you're going to do. So many things work. You know, we can hypothesize about theoretically what we want to do. I'm going to learn a muscle up. I'm going to deadlift 3 times my body weight. Whoa, both those things are amazing, great. But talk is cheap. So whatever you're going to get down there and put your effort into is what is going to work. I love you, Matt. You said something so funny and you said it so quickly. And I appreciate you not wanting to get bogged down in it. But you go, and things in society. But without getting into things in society, I will say this. Culturally, things are very dogmatic. And, you know, Red Delta Project podcast is about fitness. I'm going to keep it about fitness. Thank God. You can hear about everything else everywhere else. But fitness has become dogmatic. And I hate blaming the internet for things because the internet has done a lot of good. Look, I'm talking to you right now because of the internet. But there's no pure good and there's no pure evil. If I were to say that maybe one of the downsides is the internet, is that people get to anonymously voice their disdain about things or even just do it to mess with people. So I think that comes forth in, as you said, things in society, but also in the fitness realm. You know, okay, I'm some kid living in my mom's basement, and I just saw some dude bang out muscle ups at the playground, and I say, look at you, you chicken leg. Well, I'm not going to say what I've been called or whatever, but, or let's say even from another realm, let's say from the other standpoint, someone sitting there looking at someone lifting weights with a tremendous deadlift. It's like, you look like a freak. You're immobile, blah, blah, blah. It's like, whatever, man. Talk is cheap. And the internet, for all the amazing things it does, okay? I'm not going to hate on it. Look, I'm selling my book on the internet right now. But and hey, I love connecting with people. I love that I connected with you and everybody out there watching this. But one of the bad things is that it really gives people a chance to get divisive. People say things on the internet they would never say to another person, not just because they'd be worried about getting their butt kicked, but just because it's inhumane. What? You have no respect for another human being? How can you talk to somebody like that? You know, the way, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but really, come on. I mean, and especially if you're talking about exercise, this is something where all factions of exercise have way more in common than apart. I think anyone who considers fitness as a part of their life, hell, man, if you consider fitness a part of your life, then we're on the same team, you know? Yeah. Not that we're on a different team than anybody else, but we want them to live longer too. We want them to feel better too. So we want to get them working out too. But man, exactly. Whether I'm doing 10 pull-ups or deadlifting twice my body weight, man, I'm happy I'm working out. And that's really the most important thing. You know, there's so many focuses in terms of health. I'm keeping it on health. There's so many focuses in terms of do this to be well, do this for your health, do this other thing for your health. But the truth is, the most important stuff we can do for our health is exercise as frequently as possible. How many days should I exercise? Well, every day. You don't want to do that? Fine.
Whatever you want, go for it.
More days than not. How about 4 days a week or more? Exercise. Eat well. This is good. Eat real food, closer to home, less processed, plants and animals. Keep it clean, keep it close to the source. Get outside, sunshine, external elements, heat, cold, whatever. Anything else anyone wants to do for their health doesn't even matter if you're not doing these three things. And I'm talking about supplements or Reiki or other things that people are pushing for your health at this time. But seriously, work out, put good food in your body, sleep 7-8 hours a night. Like it'll change people's lives. There's so many people searching for this holy grail. No, what we need to communicate to the masses is, hey, exercise. You might even like it because you'll feel better all the time. I forgot where we started with that, but Dan's rants, what are you going to do, you know?
Well, just to put a point on that, like back when I got started in this whole fitness thing, I learned, I think one of the things that the internet's really kind of empowered now is that it's not about truth. It's not about improving people's lives a lot of times. It's a way for small little anonymous guys like me to finally get attention. And as we've learned, especially over the past couple of years, that one of the best ways you can attract attention, whether it's good or bad or whatever, is to be antagonistic in your messages. It's like, this sucks and that sucks. And I've seen this in our fitness culture where people will, and this is what I used to do when I first started making videos, everything I made was about being antagonistic. Everything was anti this and against that. And basically just, well, I'll just put it out there that I would go and I'd turn on the camera and be a whiny little bitch because I would just bitch about things, about what was wrong and how things were wrong. And
if I may interrupt for a moment, for the masses here, Matt doesn't use profanity much. That's the first time I've heard him use the B word, just so everybody knows. I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue.
But it fits because that's exactly what I was. I was just bitching all the time about like, okay, this new thing is out and it sucks and anybody who does it is an idiot and it's the dumbest thing ever. And I was just trying to be antagonistic because we learned through just feedback on the internet that you're more antagonistic, the more attention you get. It doesn't help anybody. It just gets you more views and stuff. And that's unfortunately what we're in right now, is this idea of when we become more attention seeking rather than actually productive and helping people, then we become more antagonistic rather than productive and helping people with, hey, here's a good way to go about it. What do you think about that? I don't really know too much about that. Let's just leave that alone. But this is really good here. And that's why I wanted to get you on here, because your book does that. Is it says, okay, folks, A lot of you like calisthenics. Awesome. Are a lot of you going to do only calisthenics? No, because a lot of people, we like different things. Hell, I got a mountain bike right back there. You know, people are like, that's not bodyweight
Right.
training. I'm like, I don't care. I like riding my mountain
I
bike,
got
right?
the,
So,
can you see it, the Airdyne, the
hey, there we
1970s
go. Look at
Airdyne
that
over
piece of
here,
work.
you
That's a
know, so, you
classic.
know,
That's a classic
yeah,
work. Oh man, that's one of
yeah, it's
the
vintage.
oldies and the goodies.
Yeah,
But
yeah, the old
your
fan.
message has always been about getting people stronger, inside and outside, about living better, about being a stronger example for themselves, which is why I've always resonated so well with that message. And I want more people to pick up your stuff and watch your YouTube videos, because folks, you want to know how to be strong inside and out. You listen to Coach Danny here. He knows how to get strong, both in the muscles and in the mind. You want to pay attention to what he's got. Exactly. The book says it all. It's not just a random title. You know, these guys know how to be the strongest version of yourself, and it will not lead you astray. So with that, let's get back into the book here. Tell us about the general approach that you use to format your programming with this book here, Danny.
Well, to format the programming, what I did was first, I decided to start with the exercises. So these are the exercises that I do myself and that I do with the people that I train one-on-one. There's a lot of people watching this who know me from the internet, who know you from the internet, or know maybe my books. But my job is personal trainer. You might know me from the internet. I don't make money off the internet. You know, authors aren't necessarily known for their dough. So I'll keep it mad real with you. I work as a personal trainer. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I meet people at 6 a.m. and we work out, or they work out and I point at stuff. So this is really a cultivation of the exercises that I do with the people that I train and with myself. Now, I have different types of personal training clients. I have some people that come to me because they want to learn a muscle up or they want to learn a pistol squat. But most people come to me because they want overall to get in better shape. What does that mean? Well, for most people, it means look better, feel better, be lighter, have less body fat, have stronger muscles, have stronger connective tissue, stand taller, be able to breathe deeper, be able to run faster. I mean, this is what I'm going to go with it. So I always use the most appropriate exercises for the individual. Now, when you go pure calisthenics, I don't got to tell anybody watching this on the beauty of pure calisthenics and the amazing methodology of training. But in addition to that amazing methodology of training, I may be working out with somebody where the most appropriate thing, for lack of a better example, for let's say training their shoulders, maybe they can't do a pike push-up or a wall handstand. Maybe the most appropriate thing to work this particular person's shoulders is to sit, to take some 8-pound dumbbells, to just practice form and to get overhead and practice that rotation, add some resistance. And time, hey, the sky's the limit for everybody. I don't believe in limitations. However, we got to start where we start. And if we have access to the equipment, let's use it. So anytime that we want to get bogged down on ideology instead of what's in front of our face, we're making a big mistake. So what I tried to do with hybrid strength training, and from the feedback successfully tried to do with hybrid strength training, is free from that dogma, free from any ideology, and just go with results driven, time tested. And I say time tested because I'm not going to pretend to have reinvented the wheel over here. All the great strongmen forever have been doing some form of hybrid strength training. I've been doing it since I was 12, you know, but without knowing it. But right now,
forever.
like you said, in this internet age where things are not about the truth. I like how you said that. It's true. Or is it?
It's about attention
It's
over
nice
truth.
to just keep it really, really, really tight, really, really real. And then as far as the programs go, this is how I approach training. And the programs are very, very detailed. And for those of you watching, there's 3 separate programs. There's a beginner program, there's an intermediate to advanced, and then there's an advanced. Then there's other specific workouts. There's a lot about training methodology. There's a lot of stuff I've never talked about before, like hitting your max in calisthenics, how you could approach training for max reps, how you can approach training for max poundage with weight training, how to approach weighted calisthenics. I mean, weighted calisthenics is a subject that has been coming up, you know, since Kavadlo brothers have first put out any book, and we haven't formally talked about these exercises. So it was so much fun to delve into this. And I've been personally practicing weighted calisthenics for forever. There's videos, there's all this stuff that exists forever. So it's just really great to do this. So I'm happy to share it with the world. This book is about the truth. And I can't wait for everybody to check it out.
That's wonderful, Danny. And one of the things I love about taking more of a fundamental approach is it gives us the options to adopt and discard things as we like. I've put out videos where I talk, like the title of the video would be like body weight exercises for like the upper back or something. And I'll be using like a TRX or something. And someone's like, that's not body weight training because you're using a TRX. And the thing is, it's like on a spectrum. So we tend to draw these imaginary borderlines. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? Just a pull-up bar? And then someone's gonna be like, that's not real, like primal training. You need to be doing off of tree limbs or something like that. Like
Right.
there's always
body weight training, right?
Yeah, there's always some sort of a line.
Just nothing?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, you know what's funny is like in nutrition, like I met some kid. You know, when you have a little, my son is 15, right? He's bigger than me now, like for real. He's bigger than me. He walks up to me like this. He's like, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "Okay." But when he was a little kid, one of the things that you do when you have a little kid is you try to make friends with other parents in the neighborhood or any neighborhood that also have a little kid, so that these kids could hang out with another kid, and you wind up kind of befriending people that maybe you wouldn't have befriended because you both have 3-year-olds or 2-year-olds or whatever. So I remember meeting people and they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing? I'm a personal trainer." "Oh, well, I'm doing paleo." And I'm always, you know, like, "Great, okay, talk to me about what you're doing, blah, blah, blah." You know, I try to keep it simple, da, 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 da. And we'll talk about food and I'll be like, "Yeah, you know, plants, animals, nuts, cow." "I don't eat nuts." It's like, okay, what are you even doing here? You're drawing the line at nuts. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like who made this up? Like, you're right. So oh, TRX, you're a jerk. Like, okay, whatever, homie. Like, you know, what are you gonna do? Like, but it's like you said, it's about just I don't know what the hell it's about. It's about not the truth. That's all we got. And people might have seen me before. Like I wrote something down during this podcast. This is what I wrote down while you're talking. I wrote, well, that's my handwriting, but that is not about the truth. Okay, because while you were saying it, it was like, oh, yes, this is the world right now. So, but yeah, man, like, where are you going to draw the line? You ate a cashew, you're an asshole. You used the TRX, what's wrong with you? It's like, what are we doing here? Like,
oh
who
man,
cares what anyone did?
You just brought up some flashbacks from an experiment I did years ago, where when I started to get on this journey here, I like really started to get away from a lot of dietary culture and more like you, like, okay, just eating good food and feeling good and things like that. And I used to have a history of a lot of very dogmatic eating habits, and I got away from that for a while, and then I was like, you know, maybe I should just go back into it, see what's new. And I got on like Reddit forums and I started listening to podcasts and stuff, and I swear it felt like half of the stuff there wasn't about helping people. It was just all about, you know, why these people are stupid, and you know why these people are stupid. And it's like, are you adopting these beliefs just so you can feel self-righteous to other people?
Yes, I mean, that's like again, you know, I mean, what did you say before? Other things, yeah. People adopt beliefs just so they could feel self-righteous. Yes, this is real. It used to just happen in the gym, but now it happens in reality. Like, what? But you know, again, like drawing these lines, whatever, just, oh, you did that, you're impure, or you're unjust, or you're immoral, or you're this, or you're that. it's so insane, you know, to bring it back into fitness, because I want to talk about other things, but I want to really keep it on fitness. You know, you know, I'm into like juicing and fasting and doing metabolic experiments and calorie and flushing with enzymes and nutrient, different things. Anyway, one of my YouTube heroes, a guy that I follow, is a guy named John Rose. Check out John Rose Juice Feast playlist if anybody wants to, a solid food vacation. Anyway, this cat, he's intense. I love him, but he's been criticized. This is like a fruitarian, this dude. Like, I'm not a fruitarian, to be clear. I eat about 50% fruit, but I'm not 100% fruit. This guy, like, and he's been criticized because he talks about like juicing and drinking the fresh enzymes, you know, drinking the fresh juice right away. And they're like, oh, that's processed. I can't believe you're eating that processed food. You're talking about like spinach juice from a cold pressed juicer. So it's like, where do you draw the line with anything? I just want to keep it mad basic, okay? Get outside, exercise. Don't flush your system with sugar and alcohol nonstop. It's okay if you do those things sometimes. Just don't do it nonstop. I saw some meme the other day. It was like, it was something about like we've gotten so bizarre as a society that we consider eating good food and living life to be a strange life decision. Like, that's how unhealthy we are normally. Like, people that actually like eat food and sleep at night are like, oh, you're obsessed. It's really weird, man.
Well, getting back, I'm really glad that you covered the weighted calisthenics thing here, because I know that's an area that a lot of people have a good interest in, and it's something I've done for years myself. It's part of the Grind Style Calisthenics program, but it's also one of those things that I see very much misapplied in the gym. I would say probably about 80% of the time when I watch people do weighted calisthenics, I wouldn't say they're doing it wrong, but there's a lot of potential there to improve it. And it's just a widely misunderstood discipline that I'm very glad that you addressed in this book, because you clear up a lot of misconceptions over it, and you give a much more simple and direct approach on how to do it, not only just very effectively, but also safely, and to prevent yourself from getting burned out on it, which I really appreciate, because that's often what I see happen with people when they get really into the weighted pull-ups and dips and stuff.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. You know, and I've personally, you know, I've had very few injuries from working out. I'm a big believer that if you work out, you're a lot less likely to get injured than if you don't work out. But one of the things that I have had is a little bit of tendonitis and tendinosis and things like that. So one of the things with calisthenics that can potentially be tough for people when they're first adapting to doing something like a pull-up or a chin-up. It can put a lot of tension on these joints bearing that weight. And then when we do weighted calisthenics, it's even more. You know, we think about these gym workouts as affecting change in our muscle. We want to go to the gym. We want to get bigger. We want to get stronger. We want to stand taller. We want our clothes to fit us better. We want to look better without the clothes for that part too, right? So this is we're thinking about our muscles. We're not thinking about the other things that these exercises affect. Of course, they affect your muscles, but they also affect your connective tissue, your tendons, your ligaments. They affect your bones, your skin. So all these things come into play too. So sometimes if we get pretty good at dips, then hey man, I could do 10 dips now. Now you put a 45-pound plate on your waist and you start trying to do weighted dips. To go both things that what you said. Number one, hey, maybe that's not the most efficient way to do it. Right, you put 45 pounds on your arm and this is your dip. And maybe you're better off starting with 10 pounds and getting all the way down. Or for that matter, maybe you should do 10 sets of 10 for a year. Maybe you should try to do your max dips for a year. Can you get to 50? I don't know. How long is it going to take you? 6 months, 12 months? So like, I mean, there's a lot of ways to go. You don't necessarily strap weight on. So you put all this weight on, it can. I am not an advocate of the fear factor and the fear mongering, but I'm also a big fan of just telling the truth, whatever, keeping it real. Look, man, your elbows are little, your biceps are little. It is what it is. This is not the toughest part of your body. So you do run the risk of overloading your tendons, overloading your connective tissue if you pursue weighted calisthenics prematurely. And there's so much stuff. Man, I'm Mr. Anti-Internet today, Danny, but there's so much stuff on the internet. You see this, you see that. And it's like I could type in heavy ass weighted dip or something, long ass human flag, and see something like, oh, I could do that. Nah, no, I can't. The guy doing that's been working out 20 years and he's a freak, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. We should be inspired by freaks who've been working out for 20 years. But at the same time, let's pursue this with a little bit of grace and a little bit of reason and common sense. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to really break down a very specific protocol that one might choose to follow when doing this stuff. And even within that protocol, you could always deviate from things. I do encourage experimentation. I just don't encourage foolishness. Or maybe I do encourage foolishness. I don't know, man. This is my experience. Read the book, see what happens. I definitely do encourage foolishness in life. Definitely not in the gym, though, when it comes to safety.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between having fun, experimenting, exploring your abilities, and just being kind of, well, foolish about it, and just like that little voice in the back of your head.
I'm always quality over quantity. Like, whatever, man. You just learned dips yesterday, and now you put on 45 pounds, and you're doing this. Whatever. This is what I want to see. Don't show me your moves until I see your reps. Like, 100%. That goes across the board. And I don't want to pick on weighted calisthenics right now. Like, you've seen this. You've had a gym membership, right? I'm doing curls. Woo. Look at me. I'm doing curls. It's the same thing. I would much rather see nice, clean, articulate form, because we prioritize quality over quantity. And you know, and I'm talking about this thing that passes for a pull-up too, that I see. I can't even do it, like that thing. Like, you know, again, it's like, what's the point of doing this, you know? And again, look, I'm not a fear monger, man, right? So it's not about getting hurt even. Yeah, you could get hurt. Yeah, you could hit your tendons, or you could not. It's not even about getting hurt as far as Danny's concerned. What it's about is getting the most out of your repetitions. Why do we exercise? We exercise so we can be in better shape. Why do you want to waste time in the gym or anywhere? Let's dial it in. Let's get mad good at the fundamentals. Let's work hard. Let's turn off the phone. Let's turn off the TV. Let's squeeze the bar tight. I don't care if it's a dumbbell or a pull-up bar. Squeeze the hell out of it and really be dialed in to what you're doing. Why are you cheating at something that the only person that stands to gain from is yourself? So that's why I encourage good form. I mean, look, people get injured, man. If I wanted to say no one should ever get injured, whatever, never drive a car, never leave your house. Look, we got to try things. Don't be stupid. But the real deal is I want every single rep of every single set of every single exercise that every single person who reads my book, I want every single one of those reps to count, because I want people to get stronger. And the best way I could articulate get stronger is be in the moment, be present, work hard, and don't try to cheat the rep, because you'll just cheat yourself.
Well done. Awesome. There you go. Everybody, check out Danny's new book, Hybrid Strength Training. Link is down below in the description. You can also go on dragondoor.com. Other links to Danny's stuff is in down below as well. Links to YouTube, social media, all other things as well. If you have questions, reddeltaproject@gmail.com. Danny, where can people find more from you?
You could find me. My website is dannythetrainer.com. Of course, follow me on Instagram. You know, I've been bagging on technology a lot. I've tried to say the whole time, hey, a lot of good has come of this. I like this Instagram thing. I was a long time holdout with it, but it's pretty cool. So at Danny Kavado on Instagram. My Facebook, I think I have 2 pages. You could friend me, Danny Kavado. You could like me. It's also Danny Kavado, or maybe Danny the Trainer. Write me, say hi. I write back to everybody. And I can't wait to hear from you. Pick up the book, Hybrid Strength Training. This is the most honest and pure and best thing that's come out of me in a productive, artistic way.
Wonderful, Danny. Thank you so much for your time here, man. I really do appreciate it. Folks, highly recommend it. With the holidays coming up and stuff, this is the time of year I always recommend people start getting into something new. Don't wait till New Year's. Don't wait to be like New Year's resolutions. Like, get started now. Jump onto it now.
Even get started now. The present.
Yeah, even if you do your normal like calisthenics routine, you're like, I'm just gonna also add in like some deadlifts or something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be a complete overhaul of your entire fitness approach. Just little tweaks here and there to keep you moving forward, keep you motivated during the holidays. And then when New Year's hit, bang, you're off and running to the races. So thank you so much, Danny. I really do appreciate it, folks. Links down below. Once again, check it all out, and I will talk to you next time. Till then, be fit and live free.